Hi guys, this is Android Nub, and these are the best games of the week. First up we have Pylon, a 3D action RPG published by Mango Publishing. This is a really cool RPG with a story. There's a joystick to move and a button to attack. Your character can specialize in 3 different classes, and the combat's like hack and slash. There's cutscenes, a lot of dialogue, quests to get. It's kind of like a dungeon crawler. You go through different maps, doing quests. The story's interesting, and there's equipment and skills to get, and the graphics are quite good. Really cool RPG worth checking out. Next up we have Rogue Beyond the Shadows, a 3D RPG published by Codestalkers. Here's another cool RPG where you also have a joystick to move around and an attack button and skills. You play a rogue. There's a big open world with lots of towns to visit and lots of quests to get. The graphics are not too bad. There's a lot to do in this game. You can level up, get lots of skills and stuff, but the biggest con is the combat itself is not that great. It's hack and slash, but it's really slow and not super responsive, but there's still a lot to do and it's a decent RPG. Next up we have the Great Martian War, a 3D endless runner published by TheSecretLocation. The controls are like that of your typical endless runner. You can move left and right, jump and slide. However, the setting in this game is fairly unique. The game takes place in 1913, but the world is invaded by giant robot aliens, who apparently invaded the world back in time. I'm not sure how that works, but this game has some interesting scenery. It's like a mix of Temple Run and Into the Dead. It can get repetitive after a while though. Next up we have Defenders and Dragons, a 2D castle defense game published by Glue. This is probably the prettiest looking castle defense game I've seen. You play a hero and you can summon your units to defend your castle. You don't actually have to destroy a castle at the other side, you just have to kill all the waves of enemies. There's new heroes to unlock, there's also new units to unlock and new maps, and it's a fairly fun castle defense game. Next we have Valkyrie Gauntlet 2, a 3D action RPG published by Eternal Minds. In this game you play some kind of Valkyrie and you kill enemies. There's a joystick to move and buttons to attack and to use skills. There's kinda like a story and dialogue, but the game is fairly simple. It's not really an open world. You just kinda keep going through stages. There is equipment to get and stats to increase. There are boss battles. Fighting is not super fluid, but is easy to pick up and play, and it's really not too bad. Next up is Mana Rush, a 3D tactics RPG published by Half D Games. This is a turn-based tactics kind of game where you control 4 people and they're all different classes with different skills, can level up each of your heroes and individually equip them with stuff, go through stages where you fight enemies, can tap where you want your characters to move, and when you attack enemies there's a chance you could miss. I like the fact that you have 4 characters. I think they could have improved the overall game mechanics a little bit more, but strategy RPG fans may like this game. Next we have Hot Rod Racers, a 3D drag racing game published by miniclip.com. So there's tons of these drag racing games on Google Play and I almost never cover them, but I might as well include one here. The graphics look good and the gameplay is very simple. Basically you race and shift gears and you can actually tilt to move your car left and right. There's lots of stages to go through and you can upgrade your cars. Next we have Scrap Tank, a 2D action arcade game published by Gamistry. In this game you control a tank. Well, you actually can't control how to move your tank. You kinda aim with this joystick on the bottom right, choose where to shoot. There's lots of enemies, there's action and arcade-like, so there's lots going on and it's pretty fun. There's a couple of levels and you can get new upgrades and fight some bosses. Interesting arcade game. Next up is Pyro Jump, a 2D casual puzzle game published by PINPIN team. In this game you play some Candle Flame on his quest to find some princess. You go in these circles and they swirl you around and you tap to jump to the next circle. There's lots of levels to go through, you just jump around through the obstacles until you get to the end. The levels are all pretty different and it's an interesting casual game. Next is Casters of Kalderon, a 3D city building strategy game published by Helmeni Games. This is one of those games where you build a city. There's a huge map with tons of other players who can attack them or attack other random stuff. I didn't get too far into this game. It's a game that requires a lot of time, but the graphics are not too bad. You have this 3D view where you can walk around town, and the game has pretty good reviews, so you can check it out. Next up is Polar Adventure, a 3D casual action game published by VO Digital Arts. This is a really simple game that will give you great nostalgia. If you have ever played Crash Bash for PS1, you play some guy in a seal and you want to knock these people off. The graphics look really good, but the game is very casual. And last, we have 300 Seize Your Glory, a 3D action hack and slash game published by Warner Brothers. I put this game last since I already made a video for it, but it's a really cool game where you fight Persians. The combat's action oriented and it's pretty fun, although the game is very short. The graphics are also really good. Anyway, that's all for this week. Make sure you guys subscribe for more videos, and thanks for watching.
This is Sparta!